We only have one portion of the where the two kids, they're completely fenced in. Okay. Anyways, he jumped out and in and out really quick after I killed him all.
Good evening, it is Wednesday, July 16th, it's 6 p.m. I'm calling to order the normal, regular, monthly board meeting for Clear Creek Community Services District. Can you all please rise and join Director Lincoln in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we can start with you, Director Lincoln, with roll call, please.
Jerry Lincoln, Logan Johnson,
Scott McVeigh.
Beverly Pickett.
Talked to Debbie and I told her
Emily King, administrative assistant.
Thank you. We have time for Sandy, if she has anything for open time tonight.
Yeah,
If you'll please approach.
we're gonna have a Firewise meeting August the 28th at the community hall, 6 o'clock. Do we have a speaker?
oh, sure,
Do we have a speaker coming to that next meeting?
not yet, but we will.
And then, July 31st, there will be a county Firewise meeting on, at Channel 9, north of town. And it's, all the community leaders from the different, organizations. And, we get together and have a meeting and talk about what each of our community, our organization is doing. And then, they're gonna have a speaker, gardening in wildfire country, and it starts at 11 a.m. And it will also be in the same location at KIXC. The doors open at 8:30, the Firewise Leaders meeting is at 9, and anybody who wants to attend can, and then come and listen in and learn the latest information on Firewise. And,
What date was that again, Sandy?
August 28th.
No, 31st.
No, this is July 30th, I'm sorry.
30th or 31st?
30th,
And is that 8:30 a.m.?
yes.
Right.
The doors open then, but I need to have donuts and snacks and stuff, and the meeting will start at 9.
And where's the KIXD building at?
We go north of Reading, across the bridge.
No, north of Reading, across the bridge. Which bridge? am I-
North Market.
The Sacramento River Bridge, the North Sacramento River Bridge on Market Street.
Kind
Okay,
of kitty corner to
On the
SK.
right-hand side, and it's
Okay.
across the street from where the old Limbs Cafe used to be.
yep, okay.
Before you get to
The
the
North Market, okay.
What are they gonna be covering again?
And it's gonna be July 30th.
What are they covering?
Well, the first part of the meeting will be Firewise leaders, and what each community, Firewise is doing. And then, where the speakers will be, evidently they published a book, and, it's on gardening in wildfire country. It should be pretty interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any comments? All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Do we have questions or comments about the first three items? I'm going to reserve item 4 for all of us.
Well, the minutes are still incorrect, even though you got a corrected copy, so, and there's just a duplication of wording is all it's really, so I think we can approve those with,
As amended.
yeah. And then, the first three items, you know what, let me ask you something about payroll. Is it really necessary to have this in our packets? What do you guys think? Do we need to see the payroll? Do you like to see the payroll?
Gentlemen?
The payroll?
Yeah, the check register for,
Yeah.
No.
yeah, I just,
If I may
Yeah.
add something there, that, if you wanted to pull some salaries, that it's in the budget year to date, you know, so we can track it through that if you wanna see.
Quarterly, maybe?
Just have a item, just to.
I mean, cause when we sign the payroll, we we see it, so the finance people see it.
Yeah.
But if you guys, it just saves us, you know,
In the packet,
in the packet.
Less paper we got for that.
I don't think it's
We
totally
can amend it.
necessary.
yeah.
Okay.
Introduction.
All right,
All right.
sounds like the board has spoken.
All right.
I
agree.
Anything else on the first three items?
So I move to accept on the consent agenda the first three items as the minutes being amended with the extra duplicate
I
talk.
have a motion, do I have a second? Actually, I can't do that because this is part of the consent agenda, all four items. We would have to pull number 4 out separately.
Oh, okay, well, I think we are since we're gonna discuss it.
Well, then we need
Okay.
a motion to pull it out and discuss it further.
I make a motion that we pull out the, activity log for the P and L, so we can discuss it from the, consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so noted. Now you may make the motion on.
Okay, so the first three items, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented with the minutes being amended as discussed.
Second?
I second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to the activity reports for May and June. Who would like to start off with the questioning? Let's start at this end. Pam, anything?
Let me get there.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we both of us brought this up to, at least to Emily, but on the May 2025, and Jim, I don't know if Scott talked to you about it, the ag water sales 11020, we're showing a negative 32,000, so is that correct?
No, that's not correct. So it's a Scooby-Doo mystery, but what we think happened, it's either a bill that not paid, but it's not, it's representing as a negative, it should not. But what we think is more likely the case, and it deserves further follow-up, is that the export for CUSI into QuickBooks has probably got the error. So what we were gonna do is double check where Melissa had her export and just compare the export, and see if something is different from what Shireen is doing.
It appears it was captured in the June though,
Yeah.
because we're at 60,000, and I did some background
Yeah.
research, and the 23-24 budget actuals was only 142,000 for the entire year for ag water. So it appears that's what happened with
It's
that.
almost like a reconcile kind of fund caught up, you think, for the next
I
one?
don't know. Let's find out if it happens again.
To me, I don't have enough information to say definitively. We need to see what happened with that export to kind of know why it's a negative number, because that is not correct. And that's the trick with some of these reports, is when you're looking at a point in time, the very next day it changed. And so it's, but I don't have a good answer, because the last couple of days we didn't have our bookkeeper, she got sick. And so that was something that we were working on Monday afternoon. I did hear about this, and we were looking into it for several hours.
So the other,
I was actually trying to give Pam a chance. Did you have anything? Pam?
No,
No, okay, then Beverly, go ahead.
so 15000, the revenue taxes also are negative, and
Is this the May one?
May and June.
Yeah.
I do think it's an export related thing, but,
I don't,
you know,
I talked to Emily about that.
We're boo-booing something?
Well, we have a penalty that we're having to pay on our taxes.
Uh-huh.
So,
you think it's taken away?
Uh-huh.
The revenues,
Uh-huh.
so negative. Okay.
I'm thinking, but should it fall under an expense or, anyways, but if Shireen's not here to clarify, we don't know. But, yeah,
I can make a note to follow, because it would be good to know what happened and then just be able to report on that activity.
yeah,
I'll
but
put
the,
a note here to report back.
yeah, the numbers are a little too far off. You would think that they'd be a little bit more consistent if it was that penalty that we're paying, 166 1 month and 127. So that's what I was,
If I can back up a second, can we maybe stick with page 1?
oh,
Go one page at a time, if people have anything. So do you have anything else on page 1?
Nope.
I don't have anything else on paper.
Eric, no? Okay. I came up under distribution and repair and maintenance going in. And I was a little concerned that for the month of May, distribution going in was only $203. Were there no repairs or inventory purchase or anything?
what was that number?
That's,
This is it's 40400.
yeah, 40,400. And then I noticed also in the next month, June, I know we had a few leaks, but then it was still only $1,800.
If I may, I suspect, since we were approaching the end of the fiscal year, we were throttling back, what we could if we were, because I know we were getting very, close, if not exceeding some of the sub-accounts. So that would, the number might be accurate, it's just, it's approaching the end of the fiscal year where we're watching our.
Were you trying to carry that over, that payment into the next fiscal year?
Oh, I don't think we have a
Oh,
situation.
I hope not.
No, it's bad practice.
Yeah,
It doesn't solve the problems, it just moves the problem. So no, I don't suspect that, I didn't see anything like that.
All right. Then coming back this direction, page 2.
I'm still on page, well, could be 1 or 2. And I mentioned it to Emily, PG&E,
Okay.
it's not listed anywhere. No wells,
Yeah.
no utilities for the wells, no PG&E costs for us.
Again, I pulled up, and the budget for the fiscal year 23-24 for the utility for the wells was $75,000. Now, we know that's a bit high, but even on good months, we're still paying about $1,800 in standby charges for the well. And, if we turn it on to test it out, it comes to like $5,000.
Okay, so this is a template report, so that deserves,
So it looks like we're doing quite well, but we really aren't. As far as,
Well, I don't know if this enters into it, but, the new bookkeeper, and I'm forgetting, Shireen, she said she's having, struggle finding things.
Okay.
yeah. It's a little bit of a chore, just because you're looking at somebody else's style, and one of the things that we were working through more recently is, how, when you reconcile and when you, well, basically it's a monthly reconciliation, you wanna put notes, and sometimes it's like a little shorthand, or there's a different description for the same project, for example, it's not consistent, so when you search for, let's say, RCAC, instead of like backwash pond, or maybe the project number instead of backwash pond, you only get what is labeled.
I understand.
So she's identifying some of those inconsistencies, which makes it harder to start figuring out trends. So
Very good.
at least she's catching that.
Page 2.
yeah.
I think July would be more accurate too. Because there was bills paid, we did payables, but we didn't reconcile anything when we didn't have.
Okay.
Anyone, so that would have been May would be included in there too.
Go ahead with page 2.
Okay, so page 2, the director fees, 50510. So, this was my bill of $405.01 that I traveled to Monterey. But what the bookkeeper did, it wasn't that much, it was probably $380.01. But what the outside accountant did was that they paid we had a special meeting for
Right.
$25. And so that should have been the fees, the $380 should have been under travel of some sort. Instead of, so we've got them mixed up from, I don't know where the $25 went.
Plus
Yeah.
the normal board meeting,
Yeah.
so you're looking at $500.
We're missing the
Just for
other
the board
fees.
meeting.
Four.
Plus the special meeting was 25.
Yeah, so that's all, I don't even know where that went to.
Just for travel.
Yeah, the 380.01
Was just that.
Yeah.
was just travel.
Your guys, we had a lot of meetings.
Yes, we did.
A lot. So, okay.
So this is a little disappointing. So,
All right, magnifying glass on this.
Yeah, we're gonna continue, we have anything else on page 2?
So-
no, I'm good on page 2.
Director Lucas, page 2, Gary? No? No. Okay, no. I wanna go page 2, but I wanna go to June. OPEB actuarial, $50,540, there's nothing there in June. There is one in May at about $6,850, and that's kind of what we've been paying every month.
Give me the number again.
50,540.
It's
And-
on page, it's not on page 3.
No, it should be on page 2 if you go with our numbers. In May, it's there. In June, there's nothing there.
Well, wait a minute.
That's actually a very good suggestion. I think we need to have a finance committee meeting with Shereen.
We don't want to overload
Yeah,
her,
we
but
gotta-
we need to,
I think
you know,
she's-
guide her to, yeah.
She's ready for any help she can get.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
not hearing that third party through Gemini explain what you guys explain
And
would be a
also,
positive.
the CPA having an involvement at some point.
Yeah,
So
I was
there's,
wondering what they did messing in the system versus,
She definitely has her own style, which I like, and I told her make it your own, so there is a little bit of flavor that you'll see, and as long as it's accurate, I think
oh yeah,
it's-
we want a transparent picture.
So if, we could do one of two things if you'd like, we could either, you know, dig into this, and then you could report back next month, or we can, the board can decide on
Okay.
Finance
it.
meeting.
Which might be too early, cause I know we have one that we wanna do for the 90 days review of the budget. But I'm willing to dive into it and maybe.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we want her to get her feet under her too, that would be confident in what she's doing, so.
Yeah.
All right, moving back on page 3 then, anything? Yes, no?
no,
Okay, page 3 either?
No.
I do a little bit. When we come down and we figure out that $32,000 is minus his revenue, we add that back in, and then we have question marks about utilities and whatnot. Without any accurate numbers on the utilities and 1, 2 other things, we're showing a net of 95,000 plus.
Right.
Okay, so instead of the 62. And, let's flip to June, and that's page 3. And, I was going through, I'm wondering if there's some way for us and anybody who gets a packet and looks at this to be a little more transparent, a little easier to understand what's going on. Meaning, when we have expenses and income grant related, I know it has to be here. My concern is that it get coded wrong as revenue, the reimbursements, and then we get stuck with having to pay for that through LASCO. Okay, so I want to make sure that that's being coded and we don't get stuck with it, because we don't need, an additional $6 million of revenue that we get feed up on. But breaking out some of those things, it looks, without OPEB, without the utilities in there, that we were running about 118,000 net positive, which seems rather high compared to the last fiscal year. Now, I know we've got some changes, personnel, staffing, whatnot. I'm a little surprised, you know, and maybe some of the repairs didn't hit here, I don't know.
Right.
Okay,
And since we're talking about, grants and projects, one thing it hit me on Tuesday, yesterday, it's all blurred, but, I had a meeting with Pace, and we were going through the backwash pond project, and it appears, and I'm still verifying this, I need a bookkeeper for this, but, it appears we probably didn't, ask for a bridge loan from RCAC, and we paid out of our operating budget to the contractor.
to which contract?
Gil,
How much did we pay?
2 payments, payment 5 and 6, and it's about 500,000. So that is, while the money might have been there, this could have been related to J.R. Martin coming in and helping us with payables and
Okay.
things like that, but it's still a Pace engineering, because they're administering this stuff from us, so the sequence for this is really quite interesting. So we go through the approvals between the contractor and the Pace, they check quantities, the water district looks at it, approves it, then we take that number, we go to, OES and, SRF and say, here's the numbers, so this is what we're gonna do. Now we have to get that approval, take that approval over to RCAC, because they wanna know that that was approved by the agencies.
Yes.
Then they cut the check to us, we cut the check to the contractor, we have a contract requirement to pay them within 120 days.
Correct.
So that's the reason for that, and then,
And then we wait for the state.
then we wait for the money to hit, we pay back RCAC plus interest.
Yes.
So the only silver lining on this is that we would have saved on some interest, but when that money comes in, it needs to go where it was probably committed. And so there's something, I saw this yesterday.
Okay.
So, since we're talking about it, and at least we're catching these things, and there's just a lot of activity, and the bookkeeper position is so key. But again, it gets down to that discrepancy of how it's titled in these notes. And we're gonna create a new process, protocol on how we're gonna do full project number instead of partial or a nickname. Because while the bookkeeper may know what they're talking about, know what was what, if somebody else was looking at it, they don't have a clue. And that can hurt us in the audit as well. So we're gonna correct that. And then, that may be another thing that, I'm gonna make a note here, I can report out.
We do need to have a good file for this project,
Yeah.
because they can audit us anytime.
We have a really good file through PACE, and I've been asking them for some of their spreadsheets, because when we get, several invoices and then we pay out one payment, the numbers aren't the same, so when you look for the dollar amounts, you only find one, and you don't find the other one, so that's the problem with combining payments into one, is the numbers don't match when you're looking for them.
Mhm.
So that's the downside when you're trying to save a check, but we're gonna try to make the tracking of that a lot easier, at least with the notes where the full project number's in there, pay out 5, this amount, pay out 6, this amount, and then obviously the total. So there's a little bit of a practice that I'm gonna try to implement based on what I've done elsewhere to make it easier. Because audits will come, even though we do our own single audit, there are gonna be agency audits possibly, especially if it's DIL funding, it's 100% auditable.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of a practice that I think we're gonna be working through. Don't wanna overwhelm our bookkeeper, but we will have to address this. It takes a little bit of detective work to see how it was done in the past, and then just implement a better procedure going forward.
So let me ask you, if my understanding is correct, from having come on the board and having a problem with Cal OES that I got to deal with, do we not have to have a file with all the paperwork here on site? In case they walk in and say, I'm here to audit your file.
I don't think, normally my experience with these kinds of audits is they notify you and then you have time. It's not like an OSHA thing where they show up and show me
Walk
your,
in the door.
yeah. But, it wouldn't take much so my experience is you have a program called Informa, and it's usually the engineer has it, and then they give the client, us, access. And so they have a different system, but we can get the project file anytime we want. It's our property.
As long as
Yeah.
we don't run into negative findings.
I understand. Yeah, that's one thing where I kind of shine on those projects, is to be able to have those documents ready to go, everything's all bundled just right and labeled just right. The QuickBooks part is a little bit, I wanna say daunting, but it's tough to kind of see somebody else's style and figure it out, especially when it's not consistent. So and the dollar amounts are different, so it's just a little bit of extra work for us, and I think we'll be able to figure it out.
Okay.
At that point, I need to kind of figure out the pulse on when OES, when that grant money will hit, because it can take up to 120 days. And if I understood the case right, Garrett, he said, we are working on or waiting on something from December. So, which is unreal. I've had the luxury of elsewhere, as long as I knew the dollar amount, we didn't even need to cut the check to the contractor yet. I could draw it down from the federal agency, as long as that number matched, I could do it ahead of time. Here it's really challenging, and that's why the bridge loan, that's why the interest, and it's tougher. Yeah.
Okay, so with the 2 payments that appear to be made, are you approaching RCAC with that?
As soon as Shireen is back, cause I want to, at this point, I strongly feel like that is the boo-boo, that, cause we don't show any RCAC requests, but we show payment to contractor. And
Let's
so that's-
get that,
Yeah, so that's a
get that
problem.
in writing, so it's
Yeah.
very transparent.
It's in email already between me and Pace, and so it was again a discovery yesterday that I jumped on, and because that's a big boo-boo.
What was the time frame on those payments, how long ago,
That might have been last month.
or just last month?
Yeah, just last month, but we were working on payout 7, 8, 9, and 10 now. I gave the green light to get that application out to OES and then over to RCAC. Didn't want to hold up those. So those are going now, because it's already ready. But 5 and 6, we're doing a little bit of detective work to, we may have to back up. Now, I'm sure we'll be able to get the.
If we were 90 days into it, I'd say maybe we just, don't pay the interest on it.
Well, that's the silver lining, that we could make that decision. I just wanted to
It's nice to
see.
save $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
The only thing that's tricky about that in my mind is fiscal year closeout and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that is the one thing I wanna,
When
maybe
they
talk to
are-
J.R. Martin, our CPA, to say, hey, look, this is what happened. We need to make sure we have a good record here of cleaning up. We have the option to just, eat it and get the reimbursement and reimburse what we took it from. Whatever operating reserve, and I need to figure that out, which account, but that is an option. I just didn't wanna exactly present it to see it without having all the facts.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Anything else on May and June's
I
emails?
have 1 minute to do.
Anybody? Terry?
No.
No? I'm coming to you, Sandy.
This RCAC, I know we were facing bankruptcy, and we had to take out a loan with them. How much more do we have to deal with RCAC? When will this loan be paid off?
Well, are you talking, we have a loan, in a sense, a line of credit.
Yeah, for a project.
The loan is on the dump truck, and we have probably another 18 months or so.
Yeah, no, that's not.
And then the backwash pond, that will be as soon as it's finished and all the invoices are submitted to the state, when we get the reimbursements and pay them off, that's when it'll be done.
Then we'll be out from under RCAC.
Possibly, yes. We may use them for something else because there's no cost. And we're looking into it. We may discuss that this evening. We did
I
last
know we
week.
operated for a lot of years without them.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, with mismanagement, it turned out we had to start depending on them. But I would really like to see us, not have to deal with RCAC anymore. All those protest meetings that we had, and worked so hard to get out from under all that.
But they took the recommendations or the direction from the general manager at the time and ran with what they were given. So if bad information in, bad information out. I think we can probably get around that this time around by being a very narrow scope of what we want done.
Right, and if I may add, what I do foresee at some point being able to have sufficient funds to cover our own projects and just have a capital project fund that will be there ahead of time. When we start a project, we can move money over that's dedicated to that and allows those reimbursements to replenish that fund and just keep reusing it, so that way we don't have these kinds of
And
issues.
not be dipping into our reserves.
Right, so it would be dedicated to capital, and I don't think that'll, if I were to play this out, I don't know that would happen in the next year and a half. I think we would, 2 to 3 years, we would have, I think, some sufficient cash flow to be able to support the projects. Depending on what kind of project, because let's say it's a $3 million project and it can be done in 5 weeks, then that's a lot of money for a short amount of time. But if these payouts, if they're like 300,000, I think we can cover that at some point in the future without having to do our CAC.
There are things that we're working on to get there. A lot of the revenue from the district is kept in what's called a sweep account that earns interest. And we can have access to it the next day when we request.
Were we down to no sweep accounts for a while?
Well, this is something through the banking system, that we brought on when we switched banks. We keep a certain amount in our general checking account to make sure there's money there to pay bills. But when they know that there's payables or payroll coming, they can figure out how much it's gonna be, transfer that from the sweep account, boom, those checks are covered. And excess revenue that comes into it goes into the sweep account to earn interest.
Yeah, a higher level of interest in that sweep account, so we try to maximize that revenue
Yes.
stream.
Well, I just don't wanna go back to that horrible, rate increase that we were facing there for a while.
Oh, yes.
That was a lot of work to defeat that.
Well, actually, they did it wrong, so it was easy to read, but yes. And the direction that RCAC was given was break it down by meter size, and we have no intention of doing that.
But that is still what they believe.
But it
Yes,
should be the water
they-
that goes through that meter, it shouldn't be the size.
They do what we direct them to do. So for the rate rationale and whatnot,
It didn't look that way at first. Looked like they were gonna take over our whole water district.
I know. But we're on top of it pretty good. I think we have a pretty good understanding, and we will have a meeting with them to discuss it, if the board approves going down the approach, that is. Okay?
Well, I know all of you went through that Proposition 218, situation that we had, and that's why I'm glad you guys are all on the water board.
We won't let that happen.
Nope.
Hands down.
Any other comments from public before I bring it back to the board? Nope, okay. Need a motion to approve, I guess, or not, number 4 of the consent agenda. I don't think we
We
should.
bring it back.
I think we need to bring it back.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
I make a motion we bring this financial report back, the P and L, back, after
The next-
discussion, with the new accountant.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Moving on to the regular agenda. If we have a Michael Trainer here, we can start there. If not, then we'll turn the time over to our general manager here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item is for a protest form that was received. Mr. Michael Trainer submitted a protest form on July 1st requesting 50% adjustment to his June 2025 water bill. His property, which is currently vacant, experienced a major leak that was first reported by a neighbor on the 15th of June. This leak was located about 500 feet inside the property and past the meter. It caused significant water loss, filled the pond, and led to localized flooding. District staff confirmed that the leak was on Mr. Trainer's side of the service and traced it to exposed PVC pipe damaged by prolonged sun exposure. And repairs were completed by the customer on the 20th. Staff verified the meter reading and total usage at 2,347 cubic feet on the 24th. And his service is on a 4-inch meter. So at this time, I'll turn it over to the board for consideration of his request for 50% bill adjustment.
Comments?
Well, we know in the rules, it says that any customer can, apply or ask for either forgiveness or a waiver of any water loss. The boards in the past have all said, no, if you do one, you would almost have to do them all. And it is a case by case, but I don't know that I like the rules that said that they can apply, because it's usually no. So I don't know how we can.
Well, and the other part to me is that this was his fault for leaving it, out and not taken care of. I mean, we all went through it when we went through the drought. We started finding leaks we didn't know we had, and we all paid for it, and this is a lot of money. But, he left it out and exposed, and it died from neglect.
Comments?
Yeah, I thought in the past we had offered them,
make payments on it.
Right.
And that would be it, so, but we've never agreed to give anybody,
So did the office staff talk to him about just making payments, or that was?
It is not his inability to pay.
He's renting the property out.
He's
for
renting it out, he lives in San Jose,
Right,
so
he'll have income.
he was just asking for relief in the payment,
Right,
because it was vacant at the time, there was no renter, you know.
Nobody
it was-
to notice.
No one to notice, as soon as he was told he needed to get it fixed.
ask you which one of the people in the district he wants to pay his bill.
Yeah.
Any comments, Mr. Johnson? No?
No.
Are we kind of a consensus to offer payments in, a payment plan, if he so chooses?
Yeah, we can't, I move not to accept the 50% adjustment as requested.
I'll second that.
All right, have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to our next one, Casey Peters.
This was an interesting one.
Okay, so this item is another protest form submitted. Ms. Peters contacted the district office in May to make a monthly payment. During the call, district staff informed her that her recent water usage appeared unusually high. And after being notified, Ms. Peters hired a plumber who located and repaired the leak on the property. So similar, and at this point, I'd like to turn it back over to the board for a potential billing adjustment or.
So she's not asking for forgiveness of her water usage. She's asking forgiveness because of her base rate times 2.
No, this is.
This is a
That's-
different one.
Oh, that's the next
It's
one?
number 3. Gwen
That's the next
Williams
one.
is the base rate one. Okay.
Correct.
We're on Peters, which is, water usage because of the break. Okay.
Item 6.
Yeah, item 6. Protest form, Happy Valley Road. See
Okay.
attached pictures.
So she's got 2 dwellings, or she's got 2, so she's
No,
got
this
2.
is her consumption, this is all about water.
But Casey Peters has 2 base rate charges.
No, that's what.
No, I'm looking at Casey's.
Okay,
estate.
she may have 2 homes there.
Okay,
That's
that's-
okay,
All right, just want to make sure that we,
some of us do. But this one is directly involving water usage. And she's asking for an adjustment of $500. Based
she
on-
stated that there has, oh, that's the other, okay, okay.
She reported that, contacted the district office in May, and they informed her of high usage. She got a plumber, found a problem, had it fixed, and she wants some remediation to the tune of $500.
I mean, she only has a 3/4 inch line, so she's not watching something.
Well, they had a break somewhere on the property.
Well, if this is hers, if I've got this correct,
Yeah, they-
her water breakage was like in February. Is that the
That's-
right one?
Yes.
Her usage
Or
definitely
the usage
increased.
because it started to increase and
Right.
then the rate.
No, I would say, well, February and March, she started with her water leak there. She may not have noticed she had a water
Small
leak.
one probably.
And then April, May,
Okay, so basically it's the same scenario.
yeah, this one's the same
as,
scenario.
The first gentleman.
I move to reject the proposed adjustment for Casey Peters of around $500.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, offering, payment options over 12 months. Now we get down to 1 home, 2 base rates. That would be Gwen Williams.
I'll go ahead and jump in. So this item is the last of the protest forms for this evening. Ms. Lynn Williams of Flowers Lane submitted a request in June regarding her billing history. She reported that since purchasing the property in 2016, her account has been incorrectly charged a double base rate despite there only being one structure on the property. Following her inquiry, the district staff inspected the site and confirmed there's only one structure present, and the account has since been corrected to reflect a single base rate going forward. Ms. Williams is now requesting a refund of the overcharges dating back to 2016, and the total amount requested is still to be determined. But I want to turn this over now to this board for discussion about the retroactive adjustment.
Let's start at this end this time. Director Lincoln, comments?
I don't think we should go back to the 16th. I think it, when she found or notified us that she had a problem with it, that's when the clock should start, not, retroactive back to 2016.
Dr. Johnson?
You can disagree with me.
I mean, I don't necessarily, is there any way we could go back and look at like GIS and try and confirm if there was ever a second? Yeah, this is a decade ago, not that I doubt this individual, mistakes happen, but.
We had somebody go out and look, didn't we?
And so presently there's only one structure, but if I hear you,
Right.
maybe in the past there was, so at what point do you go back?
The reason I say that is the parcel that I own here in Happy Valley has the original house on it still. The people that I bought it from moved a modular in at a different area of the property, and then in lieu of paying a second base rate, they decommissioned that house.
Which is legal.
It's legal, and then they bypassed that house. They disconnected the water for that house. My water main is up on Olinda, but my residence is all the way back, basically at the end of my 8-acre parcel, and plumbed all the way across. So it could be that they had been a little bit more ambitious and tore that structure down prior to, could have been 2020, and you wouldn't know at this point, but it's tough. Mistakes are made.
Assess the land deed.
If I may regarding.
What's that?
Land deed, check what the land deed
Right.
was at the time of purchase on the parcel number.
So the way I see it is that we don't know if a person has a second dwelling or if they've removed their second dwelling. I mean, we get notified from the county when they're doing something legal. So if they're doing something illegal, we won't necessarily know, so we're not charging them a second dwelling fee. But in 2018, 2019, 2020, when did we have our drought? This person then got the benefit of having 29 units of water and 29 and times 2. So
40 because we bumped it.
right. So the other thing is during the Prop 218 hearings that we had and the fight that we had and all the notification went out, that customer knew, because everything got sent to them, what the base rate would be. So if you're not looking at your own bill to see why it's so high, what accountability does she have? What responsibility is hers to notify us that something's not right? I mean, every year, we've been putting in the newsletter, hey, the rates are going up by the 1.9%, here's what your base rate is going to be. So at what point is it not her responsibility instead of our responsibility?
Yeah, because if I may add regarding that, at some point, the 2016, when she bought her house, it was there for a reason. She assumed the two, and we don't have the bandwidth to be checking every single connection through the whole district. So yeah, I would agree that the responsibilities on that end are correct for the conditions.
And we need to remember the base rate changed in September of 21.
Right.
It's hard to.
If you were gonna, you have to cut.
She went from paying only $40 for 2 base rates, or 44,
Right. To 130.
to 116 or what, yeah, or
Well,
let's,
with double the 1081s too.
right, right.
Yeah,
So she should have something.
Should have
she-
clicked.
Yeah, something should have clicked.
Director Beaver, any comments?
I agree, and I just think that maybe out of being nice, we give her credit for 1 year, say, I'm sorry, you did not find this before, and give her credit for 1 year, just base rate, that's it, period.
If we give her credit for the base rate, do we not have to do 1081 also?
I know,
I'm asking.
yeah, but I think that's, I'd rather say no, I'm glad she found it, it's just like the other guys with all their leaks. At what stage of the game do you have a responsibility?
So Director Beaver's suggesting a 1 year, 12 months.
I disagree.
I would suggest from the first of the year at most, myself. Which would be 7 months now, since we've already billed for July.
It's,
But, you know,
it's the customer's responsibility.
it is. Director Lincoln, you said something about from the time they mentioned it.
Well, they made the change, when they brought it to the district's attention, the district went out, checked, and then they made the change. We're done, we've done our due diligence now.
How do you feel, Director Johnson?
She offered an explanation of how she came to this realization.
Her neighbor, they were talking about their bills, and that's when she realized her base rate was higher. To
Flowers,
play
right?
devil's advocate, yes.
Yeah, they've been getting together and chatting. Which is a good thing.
That's not a bad thing,
No,
necessarily.
They've always had it that way.
Well, I opened my neighbor's bill by mistake and thought she was being charged for 3 base rates. And it's like, holy crap, I'm sorry, I looked at your bill, but why are you doing this? You're one single person.
Yeah,
I think I agree with Pam, that as a gesture of goodwill on this, that we extend her a 12-month credit. I don't necessarily like that, because yes, the burden of responsibility should lie with her. I have no way to prove that prior to 2016, there wasn't a second building on that parcel. If I could, I'd say absolutely not, we're not going to do this. And I don't think that it was even necessarily her. I think that there probably was a second parcel or building at one point in time.
so we seem to have 3 opinions here. One's a year, one's about 6 months, and one is from notification. Do we have some middle ground somewhere?
Maybe a flat $1,000 and said,
But whose
That's
account
way
does
more
it
than
come
a
out
year.
of? I don't want it taken out of my account.
Yeah.
I don't wanna have to pay that.
okay.
That's the way I
That's
look
fair,
at
that's
it.
fair,
It's,
Terry.
who are you gonna want, you're gonna walk down the street and say, hey, I paid this lady off with your money.
No, it was her money. If she paid it in, we were simply refunding it.
No,
You know, it's a way of looking at it.
yeah.
Is there some
Did
middle
she-
ground?
Did she provide anything in the paperwork that she gave us that proved that there was not a house on that?
No, the only
Earlier.
thing she provided was the protest letter with her post-it notes of math,
Right.
and then I printed off the history of her rates.
So she didn't provide us with anything of whether there was originally a house on there and then it was torn down or burnt down or anything.
No, sir.
She's just asking us to take her word that that house was never there.
Okay, so again, I ask, is there a middle ground that we can reach anyone on? At least 3 of us.
So before we go to the middle ground,
Okay.
something, if you take a look at, it doesn't matter if you look at Peter's, statement, where it says base water charge, so it says $116. Is there any way to go base water charge times 2 on the statements?
I did reach out to CUSI after we spoke, and they're looking into it and they'll get back to me.
Okay.
I haven't got an answer.
Because some people may be base water charge times 3, and then that will be just more visual for a customer to know that they're paying 2 base rates. You know, that will help. Do we have an idea of how many people have 2 or 3 dwellings on their properties?
The query.
We discussed, but we discussed this over a year ago, and we all know that there are people that have two dwellings and are not being charged for two
That
dwellings.
is correct. And then there are some of us who have to, and we've been paying for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
For two.
Probably longer than that, because I think it was in the 80s that I finally found in the minutes that they approved the second base rate charge, so.
Like that 2 cents, no matter what the decision, we could make sure that next month we could put something in our newsletter that kinda encourages them to double check their bill accuracy and contact information and things like that. This way we can say that we've also done that for the future.
I like that.
Okay, so now we can get back on what we want on.
I'm willing to listen to the pleasure of the board. Anybody?
Like Beverly said, how do you go from looking at your statement at $44 a month on a base rate and then have it jump almost triple on the next month's bill and not question it for the last 4 years? Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, you got the protest letter, or you got the information, you got the whatever, everything everybody else got.
Whether you look at your online statements, you look at the mail statements, or if you don't look at your statements at all and you call and you make your payment, you're gonna question, why is my payment now double or triple the price that it used to be?
Thank you. Sandy, you had a comment, please.
I'd go back to the original application for a meter installment. See who, installed the original meter and what was on that property at the time. You could get it at planning commission on Court Street or Placer Street. And, if she bought the property from that person, see what the agreement was in the real estate sale. Did she agree to transfer the original meter over into her name? And did she have a house on the property at the time? It would be recorded.
But then we have
They were
to,
paying property tax on it.
we have to pay an employee to research all this.
That wouldn't cost that much, it's not that much time. I go in there all the time
Well,
researching history.
Any amount of time is taking away from the district. And if she had applied, or had given us all that information to prove that there was no house on there, then I could see it, but,
Well, the original application for the meter installation should be right here in this office.
Go back in the
See who
sixties
installed that meter, and if they,
or possibly later.
I'm sorry,
From the early sixties, late sixties.
well, we all started paying for our meters $25 a month back in 1963,
Okay.
May 3rd.
So on her protest letter, she says amount to be determined or something like that in regards to what she can get back. Why can't you guys just say, we want better justification or more substantiating evidence in regards to like maybe land deed or something like that for us to be able to make a better decision on whether, yes, we feel eligible that, you know, we're gonna recognize this. And that just pulls you back to a mid-ground that, you know, I agree with Terry that when the customer states and they come in saying, hey, I don't have 2 units, I'm getting charged for 2 base rates. I want that to stop. And that's when we've stopped it. We've done it before. You guys did it with my neighbor back like 2 years ago. But
but how many people are in the same boat as her, and we're gonna set a precedence and give them money, and then all these people are gonna come out of the woodwork and say, hey, I'm in the same boat, and I want my money.
That's some new information.
Please.
Okay, so I just went to Google Earth, and you can do historical areas. And, let's see if I can find the year, 2000 and, well, at least 2012, it looks like there's a mobile
One on
a trailer maybe. And then in 2018, 16, it's not there. So, but prior to 2016, there was another structure.
A single structure, no.
So,
If you like, I can show you.
When did they install the meter?
no, it's been installed a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
But so the prior people who lived there, when they sold it, they didn't let them know that there was that second dwelling.
So it's a good indicator. I'll go to the next, the more recent, but this is the structure right here.
Uh-huh.
I think it disappeared.
See it, but there's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a privacy screen, yeah.
But I'll go to a more recent one here.
And you can see that it is absent now. So there might have been something in the past with the previous owner that wasn't corrected with the new owner.
Maybe
So
you
for
didn't
the-
need code and they tore it down.
Yeah, but the connection remained.
So again, it's not our responsibility to, I don't like this process, I don't like the second dwelling, but when I went back and tried to find where it talked about that, the only thing it said was that some districts are making people put in an extra meter, and that's a $20,000 charge.
Yes.
So that's why this district decided to charge everybody that second base rate instead. Give them a little bit of a cushion, so they wouldn't have to establish another meter. And maybe we have to revisit that, maybe this is a horrible way to go about it, but then some people.
No.
Having asked those questions in the not so distant past, to talk with Morgan, and being a disadvantaged district, I think we could work on this and get it a little bit more ironed out and have it be more beneficial to our customers.
Yep.
Than to say, you know what, here's the deal, here's our flat rate for install,
Here's a
but
bill for 20 grand.
we can't do it, so you're gonna have to get a contract.
So why can't we say, after research, we looked into it and there was a mobile on your property, and sometime, looking at more recent pictures, that mobile left and another home is on there, and evidently the people did not take off the second meter, and we were never notified it. So,
It
as
falls
of
on her to do her due diligence.
as of today, or as of whenever, we are charging you 1 meter and
Going forward, yeah.
going forward. I don't really like it, but
Did the distribution staff go out and find that connection that would on to that other
Then you have to look.
and
The only thing I can confirm is they looked for a second
Structure.
unit structure. Or
Which
evidence that
they're
it
gonna
was.
need to go for.
It could have been, we
Yeah.
probably need to try and get her to cap that however she can, because obviously there is another connection out there.
well, I only have 1 meter and I'm still charged 2.
Yeah, so much.
No, what they
Right.
were saying is that if you have a line going to that second dwelling, it's supposed to have a cap or
A
valve,
valve,
and you
a
can
way
lock.
to lock that,
Right.
is the policy now.
Or literally just capped off.
Or just cap it and give us proof that you capped it.
We could cap it off.
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay.
Or he confirmed it was capped.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, okay, so there was one and it was capped.
I'm assuming they probably removed that extra trailer when they sold it.
Who knows?
To clean up the
We,
property.
Doesn't matter.
we can't speculate.
But they have to notify us,
Correct, Janet.
and if we had to, you
So we'll have
might
to
take a
sell it.
picture of both and say, these are the changes, but we were never
We need
notified.
to come to some resolution, so,
Sandy, did you have another comment though?
You had already answered that.
Okay.
okay, what is the pleasure of the board? Then I'm hearing possibly you notified us finally, therefore we fixed it moving forward. Is that the pleasure of the board? If so, make a motion. If not, we can continue the discussion.
I move that we have Emily write a detailed letter, describing the circumstances, and that, unfortunately, we were never notified of that until now. Now that we've been notified, we are removing the charge effective immediately, and include a picture of both.
I'm gonna do a very minor correction. We cannot direct her to do that. We can ask the general manager to take care of, have the staff do it.
Would you have the staff do it, please?
Yes.
Just one of those minor technicalities. Okay, I think I hear a motion there. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolved.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, it's never resolved, that's just a sad
I
state
know.
of affairs.
We don't want to start setting precedents as we're
No,
giving out
we
one letter.
can't.
Okay. Moving on to item 8, top 3 teens study. This is where we'll discuss some of that, Sandy. Alright, so do we have anything from our general manager? Or is
For this one?
us?
Yeah, I do, it's just a briefing.
Thank
For the benefit
Benefit of, those watching and let down the road. So for this item, staff has recommended that the board authorize, me to initiate the Prop 218 compliant rate study and approve the proposed scope in coordination with RCAC, who will serve as the district's qualified rate consultant. This study is necessary to ensure our water service rates remain financially sustainable, comply with legal requirements, and reflect an equitable cost of service distribution. The 218 requires that any proposed rate increase be based on actual costs and follow a transparent process that includes public notice and the opportunity for property owners to protest. Our CAC scope of work includes data collection, financial planning, rate design, public outreach, and support through the Prop 218 hearing process. This service comes at no cost to the district, and the district staff will provide support within their regular duties. So at this time, I'd like to recommend that the board authorize initiation of the Prop 218 rate study and approve the outline scope of work in partnership with RCAC. And I'll turn it over to the board for discussion.
Thank you. I'd like to discuss scope a little bit, time frames and whatnot. So what do we want in the scope?
Meaning what?
Meaning the direction that we give RCAC to do the rate study, the rate justification. Is it everybody pays the same base rate? Is it by meter size, which I hope not, but, you know. And then, as far as having taken a look at it, I'd like personally to see where we provide them with the financials, budget to actuals or actual year ends, for 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25. So we can show under each category of the budget what the increased cost was, a percentage, okay? So that we can be very transparent to the community that in this year it cost this much, then it went up by this much and by this much. And that's the justification, and then we can project out for the 5-year of the Prop 218 based on that, so that it's not just grabbing numbers, these are actual numbers that we have. We know that we spent this much in this year for regulatory, this much for insurance, this much for payroll, this much for retirees, for distribution, for water treatment, for whatever. And break it down by all those categories off of our profit and loss, so that we can show the community what the cost has been over that last, hopefully, 4 years if we can gather them. I have most of it already in a packet at my house. I've been gathering stuff for a while. But if it's okay with you guys, I'd kind of like to go that direction, but I'd like to hear from you.
I think that that is a reasonable and factual way to approach it.
Well, it says the project kickoff and data collection, review of historical and current financials, so it's already,
Okay.
that's already part of it.
Sounds good.
As far as the tiered rate, and so there's 3 different ways. There's the flat base rate, there's the tiered rate, and then there is a based on your meter size.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. So
No.
that just has to be very clear that don't even propose that.
It's
That's
not an option.
Yeah, because that training that I listened to, you know, online, that's what they wanted. They want the meters. So it's like, no.
If I may make a note here, that should be in the motion and the ultimate approval, so that can be taken forward to RCAC, exactly.
Agreed.
Okay.
And when we get through the discussion, we'll craft the motion carefully that we vote on. Comment, Caitlin, real quick?
Yeah, what's the tiered, when you say tiered, what is that, is that saying like if you use 0 to units to like 49 units, 50 to like 99, 100 to 149, what's the, not that I'm necessarily aiming towards that, but I'm just curious what that entails.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm curious because I don't actually know myself, but I'm wondering if it's more, is it not a penalty for the higher usage, so it's a different rate?
No.
No, that's water, this is base rate we're
It's base
talking
rate,
about.
okay.
We do a water every year
You
based
know,
on the actual cost.
Previously, this district had 1 to 5 acres paid this amount,
Yes.
5 to 10,
Okay,
over 10, you had.
There was a surcharge.
Oh, that's.
Okay.
Yeah,
However,
there you go.
I think their interpretation of a tiered rate, let me write myself a note and try to find it, was different. And I think it talks about it in the Prop 218, I'd have to go back and read it again about what they really meant by that.
well then in that case, if it's going by acre size, I would say just go by base rate / water usage.
Yeah.
A flat rate.
There was some inherent problems in utilizing a tiered rate. That's all I remembered. It was like,
Yeah.
you could get into legal trouble using a tiered rate.
Well, I would think also at that point, it's like if you have a 5 acre property, but your property's split with 2 meters on it,
Yeah.
what are you counting? Are both meters gonna be running at a 5 acre parcel, or are each meter at a 2 and a 3? Like, yeah, I can see where that gets convoluted.
One an M&I and one an ag meter.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
so what do you do?
okay.
So we've narrowed it down to base rate.
Okay, so
Flat.
one of the things, Jim, though, that when they did the Prop 218 and it passed, we were charging people more for their water on the north booster because we were pumping water
The
up.
electrical.
Disproportionate costs.
Yes.
Yeah, and that makes sense, I've done it in other areas.
Okay, well, when we passed this last Prop 218 in 2021, they didn't think about that.
Correct.
Oh,
So we have to reinstitute that aspect.
So, yeah, that's,
Okay.
I think there's only 5 customers up there.
so that was not put into the equation. So so that would be a tiered thing though, I would think though, isn't it?
No,
Well, they're paying more.
but it's based on, the booster pump, though, strictly
So,
the electrical
yeah,
cost.
So I almost think that if there is an identified zone that has disproportionate, cost, that be looked at equitably.
Right.
yeah, okay.
So that the rest of the community is not carrying on their back.
Right,
Right.
right.
Okay. Comments? No? No. Nothing, Barry? You okay with the flat rate like we've had so far? Okay. One of my concerns is that we make sure that this is done in a timely fashion. This can take upwards of a year to do. And since we instituted the last one in September, we have until September of next year to get this one in. And I know we're gonna have a few board meetings where we go through it, we discuss it, maybe go back to them for some changes. So if you can get back to us with, can they have us preliminary by March?
It takes them about a year is what they said to do their study.
Yeah.
For
Okay,
the
that's tight.
preliminary,
That's
Huh?
real
a
tight.
preliminary would be a year.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why we need to jump on this now.
Okay.
Because we still have a 45-day process
after that.
after that.
What happens if you fall out of the compliance of the 218? Like, what if by September of next year, we don't have something in place? Do we
We
just,
don't raise the rates, we continue.
it just
where
floats
they
with
are.
what it's at? Okay,
They just continue.
which there's nothing necessarily wrong with that until a
If it
new,
doesn't retrograde or anything, we just continue with, at the pattern we are. And then, because we would be within 30 days of it. We have to vote on this, and I think it needs to have instructions for the general manager to start this process as quickly as possible, reaching out.
However,
Go ahead.
there's no action listed under the agenda.
Ooh, you're right. It doesn't say discussion, action, anything.
Discussion action on the top.
Or on the top, thank you.
On the memo and just under regular agenda, under that title,
Yeah.
blanketing them.
And I do
There you
have,
go.
See, you got
Okay.
it covered.
I blanketed.
and
Yeah.
I do have a
Okay.
recommendation in the.
Discussion, action.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we complied, thank you.
I move that we direct interim general manager Jim Wadley to work with our CAC and getting this project kickoff and data collection and everything they need.
Do we need to clarify that with using the flat rate?
No, we said everything we need.
I wanna be able to direct our CAC based on the board.
The minutes.
Okay.
And flat rate with,
The base rate is the same for all customers except people going up the hill.
That's a tough way to do that. Let's
The
craft
base,
this carefully.
yeah, the base rate, we do not wish to calculate our rates based on meter size.
You guys are gonna have to make this decision.
Go ahead,
We're kind of in the middle of crafting something that'll come to you guys.
can we add on there with the parcels that use extra electricity have a
Surcharge,
surcharge?
based on electrical.
Based on
actual
electrical,
costs or whatever.
actual electrical costs.
Yes, as amended.
Okay, so are we good with this motion? Do we all understand the motion?
Is that good enough, Jim?
Yeah, I think so, 'cause I think what we'll do is, I almost wanna just call out the North Booster zone, for
Call it a zone, yes.
electrical surcharge for disproportionate.
Special zone.
Good.
Okay, before we vote on the motion, or even take a second, we had some comments. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, really, it would be bad to say, everybody gets charged the same on the base rate, because you have, the ag and you have domestic.
Well, no, that base rate would stay the same for either one.
No, because the ag would be less.
No, the water is less, not the
I'm
base
not talking
rate.
about the water, I'm probably talking about the water.
Yeah, you are.
I am.
It's 2 cents a unit cheaper for the ag water, but everybody pays the same base rate.
Yes.
But we have to be careful and not state it just like that, because there are customers who have 2 homes and 1 meter. And if we state it wrong, then we just took that away. The second home or third home or whatever. So how do we craft that to keep things the way they currently are?
Per dwelling.
Per dwelling?
Per meter?
No, not per meter, if you've got
Per
2
meter,
homes.
I could put 20 homes on my property and have 1 meter.
That's true, okay.
So,
Yeah.
as currently established. You had a comment, Sandy? Or do we answer?
No, you know, when we first signed up on this water district, when we first voted the project in 1963, a lot of the old timers said we were mortgaging our property forever. And we did. And the government come around with these papers to have us sign easements so they could install the distribution system in the meters. And they were really recommending everybody get a 4-inch meter.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we needed, and we just went by what the Bureau of Reclamation told us we had to have. Then, a few years ago, one of our past, managers decided that he was gonna dig up all those 4-inch meters. Anybody that had 3 or 4-inch meters, they were gonna be dug up and replaced by smaller meters. And I mean, if you went on vacation, you parked your tractor on your meter because it wasn't there when you come back. And that's true, that's true.
I remember that.
It happened for Richfield at school.
I'm one of 5 that's still 4 inch,
Well,
or 6.
That's interesting.
I'm not, we're not irrigating as much as we used to because we just can't afford it right now. It's just too expensive with the homeowner's insurance, the way it's gone, and, medical premiums and, oh God.
Yep.
I wrote out a check to State Farm for $2,000 last week. got home, in the mailbox was a notice that my husband's insurance was, the premium was going up $198. All this within about a 2-hour period.
Ouch.
Well, they only paid $2,000 to state farm,
I
which
just
is
mowed the
good.
fields with the tractor, and they're just dead. The only ones we were irrigating are right in front of the house. I'd like to irrigate more, but, we're just gonna have to stay with what we've got.
Okay, so we have a motion. Are you confident to repeat the motion?
Yeah, I'll do it my understanding right now.
Thank
So
you.
the board is interested in a flat base rate per dwelling with the following exception. North Booster Zone, we're looking for an evaluation of electrical surcharge for that disproportionate cost on the district.
Everything else sound good?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Is that gonna?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. So it has begun.
I'm gonna get started on that tomorrow, maybe even tonight. Okay,
Number 9, general manager report.
we'll breeze through this here. Okay, so we are, for the general manager recruitment, a special meeting is scheduled for the 21st of this month. And this is to conduct interviews for the general manager position. The job posting officially closed on the 30th of June. And the district received a strong response with several qualified candidates applying, 5 in total, by the way. So 3 internal and 2 external. Following public comment, the board will enter closed session to conduct those interviews. For customer connection, Administrative Assistant Emily King is in the process of creating an official Clear Creek Community Service District Facebook page, and I believe it went live.
It actually went live yesterday.
Yesterday.
So,
So
it was
we're
ahead of the game.
already seeing a pretty favorable response on that. And that's kind of a double-edged sword, but we think that we can utilize this more in our favor because it's important to get information out there, and Facebook is a platform that's very easy to be able to do that. And sometimes pictures speak 1,000 words too. And so it's another way for the community to engage with us, and it's worked out really well in the past, like where else I've been. And so we took the initiative to do that, and it's been well received so far.
Good.
So Emily did a great job on that. It was a little bit tricky. There was kind of an existing page, but we.
There's an old one from 2022.
Yeah, Murray Miller had established one.
Yeah.
And then there's another Clear Creek Water District though, too.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That's Lassen County.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. This will be a tool for us to engage the community. Cost of living adjustment, just do an update on that with 2.8% for our staff, and the adjustment took effect on July 1st. Staff training, procedure development, so training efforts are ongoing. I mean, there's just tons of that, and a lot of these are annual, some things are new. But the administrative team is in the process of developing clear and detailed procedures aimed at ensuring consistent practices and high quality customer service across the organization. Yes, sir.
In reference to the training, having approved some of the payables, I noticed the last batch that there were some D2, T2s or whatever coming through, and we paid for the testing, but I did not see the certificate.
They're paying for the schooling, so they're still.
Oh, that's just the schooling, that
The
wasn't the
schooling.
test.
Correct.
Very good. If they pass the test, we're happy to pay for it. You know, but if they don't, when they do, we'll pay for it.
For the test. At the
Yeah.
extra.
Yeah, for the
A
testing.
reimbursement for
We're
it.
not gonna pay for 5 tests.
So let's see, interdepartmental coordination, so collaboration between the operations crew and administrative staff continues to improve and enhance. The teamwork has led to more timely customer service alerts, better communication between the departments, faster response times to service orders, increased efficiency in resolving customer inquiries. Operations staff are also being trained on the CSI system, enabling them to research meter data and customer history independently, which in turn allows administrative staff to focus on their core responsibilities more effectively.
How are the meters working?
Actually, I think we're in good shape. We do have an update on that. We're one of the larger ones, but we're in really good shape right now with the meter readings
which was 3 days.
Did you get the larger ones in?
So the larger ones, you know, I'll get to that a little bit, but, yeah, we're working on some of the larger ones right now. So we're focusing on. Cross-connection control plan, so this was submitted and completed, and the board approved this plan, last month. And so we submitted that to the State Water Resource Control Board, and the Distribution Supervisor Morgan is designated as our user supervisor. And this will lead to implementation of the plan. In this role, she's responsible for ensuring the avoidance of cross connections during installation, operation, and maintenance of water lines. Additionally, she'll serve as the primary point of contact for the program and oversee all required record keeping and compliance efforts. So at this time, are there any questions that I can answer?
Real quick, the Olinda break, I see they smoothed out the soil there. But I noticed that earlier today there was a skip loader on the property. Did we rent one?
Isn't that ours? Is that yours?
Did Axner do the work? I thought we did the work on Olinda.
Yeah, we did, Mason, I think, went out and did that. He took initiative on his own to go out and clean things up, so.
Was that with,
And so I'm wondering.
with our backhoe?
It's gotta be our, backhoe.
Right,
And
I
so-
saw it running on the road early this morning,
Yeah.
but when I drove by, there was a skip
Yeah.
loader.
There's a skid steer.
What's that?
They have one.
Right.
Oh.
Bobcat.
All right.
Oh, the little baby
A skid steer.
bobcat is a skid
Yeah.
steer, yes. it's
Yeah.
ours.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
It
that.
was amazing.
It was there, then it was gone, and we had a few cones left, and I said,
We like to keep people guessing too, but.
Oh, okay.
And that's
I
because.
learned something.
That's because Morgan is really good about making sure that we leave the project nice.
And it looked
Even pressure washing, you know, so that it's nice and clean, because I actually discussed, that was my question, because I saw on the Coyote, break yesterday, I went there twice, and I noticed that, you know, we kind of made a mess, it was a big project. And, so I had a question about that with the clay and, you know, getting stuck a little bit. We do leave a really good, you know, we clean up using the pressure washer, so I was pleased to hear that.
Well, the back trailer, you can use it too.
Yeah, when it's clay that's kind of run over, it's harder to do, so.
That's true.
But it was nice to hear that they did that on their own and they do it already, so I was really happy to hear that, because it's important to do that.
One of the things that, I don't know why I talked to Morgan, it was when I was signing checks, she said the vac trailer has been a real, just a blessing.
Yeah.
Because they've been able to take it and go into areas and see if it needs, if it's a leak or if it's what, and it saved them time.
Good.
So
And
you
it's
put the
on
back
site.
too.
We're not driving in to rent one and drive back, and all that time, and
Right.
cleaning deposits and all that stuff. So how are we on operations?
Okay, so. Now this, item number 10, we have some numbers here that, definitely were not an improvement over the previous month, but Emily had reached out and actually, on her own, because there was a lot of work done between when this was posted and prepared, the reports run, and so she wanted to see where those numbers landed, so I do have an update that I'd like to share that is better than what is in the packet.
Good.
And so it's actually more promising. So kudos to Emily and Mark and Shireen for taking a lot of initiative to improve processes and, you know, internal controls and mechanisms and kind of procedures and just standardizing things. It also has to do with updating information and just the overall customer service improvement that I think we're giving to the community. It's been pleasing to watch, and so as a result, I'll just go ahead and start with the over 121 days. That new number is 88,186. 91 to 120 is 7,946. 61 to 98. Oh, that's a new. Oh,
Yeah,
you
the
were.
later end is the old
So
one.
sorry.
Other way
All right.
This is a new one.
Start over again.
Let's make it a better.
You're like, that's not better.
Sorry, I thought that was the original, and that was the update. So 84,410 is the 121, thank you for getting it. And then 91 to 120 is 5,262. 61 to 90 is $9,092. 3160 is 26,258. So much better. And so that's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
I'm a little concerned about the 84,000 of that 120 plus.
Yeah.
Some of it's gonna age out and it won't be collectible.
So,
Yeah,
So actually, we have an update on that.
well, I've been doing some research. Some people have actually passed away 4 years ago and their accounts were never written off. So we do need to write off some accounts due to their deceased and it already went through probate. I can't leave it anymore.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Exactly. I did create liens. Jim just went and got a signature notarized so that we can go file those, and then I drew up the letter with the extra fees that they have to pay to get it released through the county.
Right.
And how they need to do that, and then I'll get conform copies, so I also send that out with a letter, so they're aware of that.
Is there, if I'm correct, is there $100 cost for filing each one of those?
No, so there's a government code that I added to the recorded document, so government liens go on for free and they come off for $20.
Okay.
So typically what the government does is the agency, we have them write a check or give cash at the time they pay their lien. So it's a little clearer, we're not collecting extra fees
Yeah.
that then we're handing their check
Okay.
directly to the county to release.
Good.
And the site that we went to in Cottonwood Holiday, that one there, the shipping store, the notary there was $15 each notary, and we did 9 of them yesterday. So
Good.
it's not something I enjoy doing, but it is something that we have to do because, you know, the arrears continues to remain high. And, you know, that becomes an equity issue for others, you know, that are paying. And so while we're sensitive to those that have conditions that have caused them to be arrears, we're also sensitive to the ones that are paying their bill and it shouldn't be on their back. So it's not something I enjoyed doing yesterday, but it's what we need to do as a district. And so I just wanted to convey that it's not a decision that we take lightly. You know, filing a lien is always a last resort. What I wanna do is encourage folks to reach out to us early and do those payment plans so that we avoid the shut-offs, we avoid the liens. We're accessible, you know, just call us. So I just wanted to share that message.
And when that new SAVE program is funded, we'll wanna make sure that we get that out. And so that will, either we put it in the newsletter, or when they send out a bill, if it's getting late, include that information so they can apply themselves. Okay.
Yeah, so we remain committed to working with our customers. So I'll go back to that now. So operations staff will begin conducting monthly spot checks on properties that were previously shut off and remain unpaid. And this is to ensure that the water service has not been restored without authorization. And unfortunately, this happens.
Yes, it does.
How do you do that?
I had a neighbor do that,
Yeah.
and they pulled the meter.
We're also working to improve customer contact accuracy by collecting updated information, as I mentioned, during office visits and phone calls, and we've included a contact form in our newsletter. You know, for those that haven't seen that yet or haven't been contacted, you know, you can be proactive, reach out to us, make sure we have the right contact information for you, and of course, accuracy on your bill. Additionally, a clear standardized monthly procedure is being developed for managing these delinquent accounts. That's something that Emily's doing a great job spearheading through her research and working with staff. So kudos to her on that. That's a lot of work. And this includes our shut-up protocols, the lien processing, account reinstatements to ensure a consistent and effective approach moving forward.
Question for you. Is the deposit for renters sufficient if they just move out? Is it covering pretty much the last bill?
I
Or
want
not?
to defer more to staff on that, so what do you see?
It is, as long as we do our job. So the problem is things fall through the cracks and it's a few months before we're all of a sudden going, oh, they're past
languages somewhere to where if the renter skips out, the landlord is responsible. Because they have the contacts for the renter, they may be holding back the deposit, the rental deposit to.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's some language in there somewhere that allows that
I'm thinking there's something in one of the regulations.
policy,
We
whatever.
addressed it.
Um, but it's either in the operations manual or the rules and regs. There's something about the renters paying a deposit, like your
Right.
suggestion.
Bigger than the homeowner.
But there's also something about the homeowner.
Wasn't
Almost
there,
without a consent of the homeowner at that time of the renter,
So I can check
Well,
that.
what it was is we wanted the name of the homeowner,
Correct.
because we didn't have the name of the homeowner,
almost like a cosigner.
yes.
Yes.
I think what was trying to be discussed was having two separate accounts for the same parcel unit or address. One was the original homeowners, and then one would be a new account for whoever the renter is of said property. So when the renter goes into default, they can look up the address versus the account and verify that that's the homeowner, and then they can go after the homeowner for the.
And the new renter's not stuck with.
Right, it's not the new, so it's creating new accounts for the new bodies. I think that was talked about maybe 6 months to a year ago with
Yeah.
Paul.
So we can't have different accounts
Yeah.
set for them, that skews everything. All of a sudden, we have 4,000 accounts in our
Yes.
system,
I
and we
understand.
won't be able to bill. So they do have to turn in a rental agreement, and at that time, it's provided with the landlord's information. Our system, you even mark that they are a renter, and then the deposit reflects that. And then there's a separate place just for landlords on top of additional contacts that we have.
And is there any language in there that lets the property owner know that if the renter defaults, that they're responsible?
That I will have to research.
So, since I don't know if we need direction, but since we're already looking at that, I think we will explore
Sounds good.
some, what other areas do it, any sort of legalities with that, and then as we, implement that, maybe that can be an update for the future on what we found and.
Sounds real good. While he's writing right here.
Yeah, I had a side question in regards, because they're getting the phone numbers and stuff and updated information and stuff. Is the office staff kind of pushing people to get like the notifications either by email, phone call, or text when it comes to breakage, repairs and stuff like that?
We always ask them what their preference is, one of the options, yeah.
Okay.
And then we clarify too, is this your cell phone? Because everyone's numbers are so broad
Right.
nowadays. And then we ask if they want text messages there.
Somebody had
With your
posted,
Linda break, I got both a text message and email.
and my
Which
mom
you-
had gotten the phone call and she got the text about what was gonna happen on Coyote for Friday and then again
Right.
for Tuesday. But somebody had posted on one of the Facebook groups saying, I'm on Bright Path and I have no damn water, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is what's going on, and
Yeah.
we're like, oh, thanks, and it's like,
Yeah.
get those notifications going, like.
Yeah.
My issue was the email, I think, said that I would be notified when I could use water. And I waited, and I waited to the next day, halfway through that day, and said, I'm taking a shower.
It was, yeah, so my mom's notification as well also said that she would get a response as to when the water got turned back on, and she didn't know, so it was after 5, she turned the water on, she's like, cool, I got water,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I do think we're gonna start steering away from that because we waited and waited. Do we give overtime and sit here and wait, to send
Oh,
it
yeah.
out or not?
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, there's,
Facebook.
we're,
Right.
On my phone now.
yeah, I think Facebook could be,
Really quick.
Yeah.
But it's, I can tell you, we're gonna continue to make the commitment to enhance our communication. And so I think we'll continue to learn things and pass these, good practices along. So I think, we'll continue to refine that through feedback.
Sounds good. Anything else on the operations report?
If you want, I can just kind of go over the water treatment, there's a few.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, okay.
Sounds good to me.
If you want me to read the numbers, they're there, but I wanna kind of highlight the treatment. They're always busy with their normal operations and we put that in there, but Whiskey Town is full. The Bureau is on their second full spell. These do have negative impact on our water treatment plant, and we're currently producing 7 million gallons a day. The staff there completed their lead and copper sampling to comply with the lead and copper rule. Distribution staff assisted them with, which is, a rather large effort, but to coordinate and deliver the pickup samples from the customers that participated. So thank you for those customers that do help us out with that compliance. Letting us into your home, we really appreciate that. Lead and copper sampling is conducted in residents that meet certain criteria every 3 years. The sampling is monitoring the effects of the water on the customer's plumbing and fixtures, and typically in older homes that could have lead solder and lead fixtures. So the staff attended cybersecurity and emergency response training. This was put on by California Rural Water Association. We're excited that the backwash pond project is nearing complete, and so the contractors, concrete contractors, to start flowing the week of the 14th.
Did they,
Yeah, have
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, let's see.
have they started?
No, they're scheduled to start.
What's the 16th?
The week of the
Yeah.
14th.
Week of the 14th.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it's
this week.
I'm tired.
But very likely they're already out there. Based on the dates.
Is our water treatment supervisor tracking his hours so that they can be put into the grant?
So, yeah, because I mentioned that before to you, that is something that, I think not just him, but anybody, including my own time, so, that is something that's gonna be really important, so that we have some of those personnel savings at the end of the year that are, covered by the grant.
Covered by the grant, exactly.
So that's a discussion with Pace, also regarding that same project and all those payables, that's an ongoing discussion, so that's part of what we're doing to make
Okay.
things a little bit better and on budget.
Good.
Let's see. Training number 6, update, which also known as filter number 8. Treatment staff and distribution staff added about 200 cubic feet of anthracite, and after about 20 hours of filtering water into a pond, staff monitored its performance. It's producing water but at a very low rate. Now this is important because those high demands, like fire season and just other times where the demands are high, we need to be able to produce more, and so that this was actually a successful test. While it wasn't high yielding, it still was effective.
So is it, closed off, that was tested, and then it'll be brought online if
When needed.
When needed.
And so that we remain mission ready.
Yes.
That was
So
the
if
intent.
you excuse me, that's my mom calling, so I just wanna make sure that there's not a problem, and I'll come right back.
Go ahead with the operations.
And then we had a little bit of power safety shout out fun with PG&E on the 19th and 21st. So we, of course, have generators, and a lot of our stuff, it operated flawlessly. We did consume about 95 gallons of diesel, but everything, our systems work. Water quality, this is for distribution now. Water quality testing, again, the water samples that were conducted. Their samples returned back absent, which means there's no contaminants detected. Cross-connection control plan that I kind of mentioned, this is, what I wanted to add to the cross-connection control plan, other than what Morgan was doing to keep us in compliance. A neat thing that HydroCorp, our consultant that helped develop that plan, they have an outreach webpage that will be educational, and so there may be a requirement after we do a number of assessments that there be certain backflow devices needed. When you do the backflow, that means that there's an annual test required.
Correct.
But that assessment is going to determine what those numbers are, and anybody that has questions about the program and what those regulatory requirements are for the district, that it will be answered through that webpage, and it's not complete yet, but it will be available.
And we do charge a monthly fee on bills for people who have that backflow device. I think it's $547, and if it's gonna go up, then we'll need to keep an eye on that and make the adjustment on the billings.
The staff completed all their required confined space training, and this ensures that we're in compliance. Leak repairs, they've completed them on Arctic Lane, China Gulch, and additionally the crew responded to a repaired major leak on Olinda, and Fuzzy Lane. And, we also had, a leak here at the district office. We were out of water for 2 days.
Oh. I
So we
saw
were
the
complaining
link.
to ourselves, we have a new system. of
Your
fire.
car did the same.
So we feel
I feel your
our
pain.
customers
But-
more than ever.
You know, yeah, we know, we did it 2 days for us, so,
Well, yeah, you had
We
to put
put
another
ours-
league as priority and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get
they
to this
said
one
that.
eventually.
But it was a very hot week, and staff did a great job working through the heat, getting all of these repairs done. And then, of course, you know, recently Coyote, had
Major.
a major leak. It was really large, for us, it's the size of the pipe, it was a 12 inch. Our mapping told us it was different, but, we had Axner come help us, it was very deep. We had to step it so that it wasn't, we didn't have the shoring type of issues, and.
So that's where the savings in the other months on the distribution of O&M will be caught up on, I'm assuming.
The reason for.
28 to 30,000.
Yeah, the reason for the Axner coming in and helping us, we needed to be able to have a long reach excavator.
It was down 8 feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, to top of it.
Yeah.
So, and there was a bell that kind of looked like it was slipping out, so it makes you kind of wonder about that, but we replaced the connections there with the C900, and it's worked flawlessly. So staff did a great job in the hole there. It makes me kind of wonder, you know, Emily, she's so curious and she takes initiative. She found a government webpage and she was already looking at long reach excavators and she found some for like 40,000 and they're like 5 years old. You know, they're probably high hours, but it gives me that curiosity, like, can I get a grant, you know? So, if we, hypothetically, if we had a long reach excavator, then that's something we can do in-house. So
Are
we
the
just-
staff trained enough to do that?
Not at this time, is what, we
And
have
have the proper shoring too?
yeah, or you can step it, you know, it basically goes up.
Okay,
It's a
I see what
wire
you're
hole.
saying. Yeah.
And that's what we did with Coyote, and it worked out well.
What
And
was the size of the pipe?
it was a 12-inch pipe.
12 inch pipe.
Yeah, it's a good size.
But down deep.
Pretty deep. It was a giant,
giant hole, so that's why I think the Facebook page, when we can kind of show, it's like,
Pictures of it.
because people want to water the plants, you know, their animals, and take showers, you know, when's it gonna get turned on? There, a picture that can kind of show the involvement sometimes is nice, not that it's gonna help that much, if you want to shower and everything. but-
Well, yeah, but now you have an understanding of what we're going through.
Exactly, I think there's value to that transparency, and the picture speaks 1,000 words. We have a great crew, and we work really hard. You know, we don't wanna under-promise, or over-promise, we wanna under-promise and over-deliver. So, you know, we shoot for certain things, and if all goes well, we make it or beat it. We're just cautious on, like, for example, yesterday was the border. That we, instead of sticking around and doing overtime, we were thinking about sending a notice out that, hey, it's, if all goes well, it'll be turned on before 6 p.m. You know, and so that was something we were kicking around, and we ran out of time. But we want to be able to communicate better, and I think that Facebook page and some of those circumstances will help. And the other thing is, I was inquiring with staff about the process to do the notifications.
it's actually very lengthy and it's not straightforward.
We're gonna explore if our CUSI system has an easy button, maybe it's a subscription not paying for it, maybe we already have it. But there needs to be a faster way to do it for staff
Yes.
and easier, whether it's on the phone, the laptop, tablet. Half the problem solving, you know what the problem is, we're trying to figure out what we have, what we don't have, what's out there that would work better. But where we may be deficient on that system, we'll try to make up for it with the Facebook page. So overall, I think if we can start over time encouraging folks to stay connected with, giving us the contacts so our system will work, but also keep an eye on Facebook in case you have additional information.
Here's a question for you. Grant related. You wanna look for a grant, 40,000, 45,000 for a long range backup. Not a bad idea. Can you write in the grant, because it's a used piece of equipment, a piece for mechanical upgrades or repairs or whatnot?
My experience is if you have an identified, like a known flaw, you gotta replace the hydraulic lines.
Right.
Then you can build that into your quotes. It's 40,000 to assume the equipment, the asset, and then an additional $3,000 for the hosing
Right.
and labor, and so you can add that in there.
Okay,
of course,
good.
if it's known. Otherwise,
Right,
it's
if it's known.
unforeseen, you discover it. And
Right.
so it's, and if I mentioned that, it doesn't matter the cost if you cover 100% of the grant. So get a new one if you can, but we're starting to at least look at it because even if we bought it for 40,000, our return, the savings would be paid for 2 years, maybe less, it depends. But not that I'm encouraging that, I'm just saying just to think about options. It would be great to have that in our arsenal, or I also asked Morgan to go get a quote on what would it take for us to rent a little one, a medium one, and a little bit bigger one, just to know. And then the question came up, are we trained? And they're like, well, I mean, while it's similar, it's track mounted, it's a little bit different. Not that we would go and get something and then train with it to say we're good, that there is no specific certification for that. It would be one of those things that it's worth discussing and looking at if we have an existing leak, and it could be an opportunity if it's not so deep or complex, we go out and get it. Well, if it's deep, we need to get it, but
Right.
if it's not complex, we go do it and then train during that, and if it looks like that's something that we can take on, then maybe we can explore getting that. But I want to limit the cost, and I think having Axner, which they're great to work with, but it's definitely a premium for us, and so I can't help but look at other options.
How was Sunrise? Because we've used those in the past. Sunrise Excavation, we've used them in the past too.
Maybe, yeah. And so it's still outside versus in-house, and the renting it, because it may only happen 4 times a year. If you rent it, then you don't have to deal with the maintenance, the asset, and that reporting with the government reporting and the depreciation. It's just easier to kind of rent it and have it delivered, and it's a day rate. So that's another thing that Morgan's gonna be looking at, just so that we have information to be armed with. But if we can get something because the grant pays for it, great. And
So with Axner doing that job on Coyote, do we have to pave any roads?
no, it was completely off the road, and the total, if I remember right, was 9,300, and it might be a little less if they save some time.
Because if we ever use Axner, we have to put in their contract that they will fix the road to even.
The scope. Include proper compaction.
Yeah, proper compaction, they were
Right.
compacted.
Because we had
It's
two
settled.
areas,
Oh, yeah.
we had two
Yeah,
areas
it's
that
settled
they
over there.
did, and we ended up paying somebody else to come and fix their work
Quite a bit of money.
a lot.
Oh.
Okay, anything else on
How far
Rock
does
Creek?
that excavator have to reach?
I don't know the distance, but, because you have distance out and distance down, so I think because I went there, and
Probably.
I can't go into the hole, I gotta have the PPE and the hard hat and stuff. but
We've had
It was a good
Monroe
size.
We've had Monroe over on Olinda Road, do a couple of repairs for us. He's very, very reasonable.
Yeah.
He's local, he's certified, he's insured, he does a lot of government stuff. He goes up into Hayfork and the mountains and does big projects up there. He does really good work.
I can tell you that the disturbed site was larger than this room.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, terraced.
Wow.
Because you're taking all that material and you're placing it somewhere else, and so if you go and look at it right now,
It's
nice.
beautiful.
It's really nice. They did it great.
This is on this portion on Coyote,
Yes, and that's why I like.
Coyote East or Coyote
The
West?
letter here.
Probably
off of,
east.
And then this is their.
What?
East.
It's always east is the bad side.
Axner brought,
Mhm.
how did they deliver it? Were they able to?
So
behind
that's,
them?
so that's interesting. They brought a smaller excavator, and they brought a medium-sized excavator, and they brought shoring, which is a lot of mobilization.
Yes.
And, but
For
the
night.
quote didn't
There was a
really-
connection that
reflect that.
Gave out.
So, but they did, because it was 2 days.
Installation back in the sixties.
That's
Yeah.
Good.
Did we have staff on site the whole time?
Yeah, he has extra.
During the normal day, yeah.
Oh, this big one?
Okay.
So the reason I asked
Yeah, it's
is just,
a big one.
we're,
Yeah,
we're
it's
what,
a huge one, yeah.
this excavator that they brought, would it be able to go on the existing trailer
Right.
behind our 10-wheeler?
And so that's a good question because, you know.
Or was it big enough that it needs to be low weight? Because that's a considerable advance.
It sounds like too, it's right, yeah. So I don't know what the trailer rating is, but
We
probably
can't
not for,
afford it
probably not
anyway.
for that larger one that was needed. So yeah, you're right about that, you gotta transport it. Yeah, so it's a rent, so.
That's a rental situation. That's great, because they can drop
Yeah.
off.
It's their problem, yeah,
Right.
exactly, they drop off and then we can.
And we drop that, yeah.
Yeah. Once you,
I've seen some of that. Want to wrap up the operations and kind of, we're coming up on 2 hours.
Yeah.
And
We're doing good on
staff
either.
hauling a generator down to the wells when they have to do their testing.
What was it, I missed the first part of it.
Is staff hauling one of the generators down to the well, hooking the generator up to run any testing on the well, which they need to do periodically, instead of using PG&E when we get stiffed with
Right.
$17 or more per kilowatt.
Right, I know that when I discussed that with staff, that is something we're doing. I just don't know if we did it within this last month.
Okay,
Because
I'd
I
like to
haven't heard
see
of
it on a regular basis, because you're gonna save thousands of dollars
Yeah.
on electric.
And I think that was pretty clear when I was talking to Morgan about that. I just don't think that we actually did it in the last 7 days.
Okay.
I don't, if they
I
did.
know we have to
it's
do periodic, plus
Yeah.
the equipment needs to be exercised, so,
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense. Anything else operations?
Yeah, I think this will work.
Okay, standing committees, anything?
please join us at the Happy Valley Farmers Market on July 26th from 8 to 11, in the Bonnie's Burgers parking lot across
Yeah.
from the Happy Valley Little League field. We hope to see you there.
We had 8 vendors last time. And one of them though was a free one, and that's the Firewise. I let them come in and do an informational booth for free, just to help the community out. Fitness finance,
We didn't have one.
I know, but are we gonna have one? Is it something we're working on?
I can get busy without having to do that at this point if you want, but.
Well,
Because there's a lot to look at, and so I would be better informing the committee once I have that info.
Okay.
'Cause I'd hate to schedule something and then not be ready.
sounds good. Director Lincoln, Planning Chair, anything coming up? We're working on a grant for master plan or anything?
Yeah, so I had a meeting with Pace when I discovered Pay Act 5 and 6, and we were talking about the scope of the master water asset management plan, also known as the master plan. So the scope was very basic, like they're gonna, for the GIS piece, to just give us a map that says, go out and field verify. And I'm like, well, we need more information, so tell me what it's gonna cost, and I might have to scale that back. But I wanna have the numbers, both one way this way, and what it would take to get us what we need, which is, where's the alignment? Because some of the alignment I was showing staff on a higher quality PDF, they're like, it doesn't go through there, it goes right through diagonally through this parcel. And I was like, okay, and then also that same map said it was a 14-inch, and then another one said 8-inch, and it ended up being a 12. So we need to find out.
So their as-bills aren't there.
As-bills are not that good, it's not reliable, we need to know where the valves are, and we can get a GPS pointer there, and what I would like to do, if I can envision this, if we had a GIS system, and let's say we have a break, and then staff touch a valve, and then if they were to shut off that valve, it would highlight all the homes it hits. Hit a button, hit notice, and just make it easy. And so there's some tools out there, I know, I do dream, but there are tools out there to make it easier, and I do think that the alignment is important, the size of the pipe, the depth of the pipe, type of pipe. So that scope is gonna increase there, and again, if it's grant covered, then we'll get a good deliverable. But, I need to be able to find out the various, costs, pursue that grant with Western Shasta Regional Conservation District. So far, it still looks good, and if there's a constraint, then I'll have to scale back. At least the GIS will be established with all the parcels, and then we'll build upon it.
Sounds good. Board member items? No, Logan, nothing?
I have one.
Go ahead.
We had and I don't know where the decision was made, all of a sudden things changed. Some of our vehicles had been taken to Market Street Automotive, and then, somebody decided, I don't know if it was Paul or whatever, that it was a conflict of interest because of the situation that we all know.
Yeah, I understand.
And I consulted with a HR person, that has a master's and works in HR, and asked about that, and they said that that is not a conflict of interest as long as you make a workaround and just have a second person, check on it. And the reason I brought this up is because one, we went back to, and I'm not gonna, I don't want it on the taping, so I'm not gonna say, on our previous mechanic, and that was a person that had done work before on our rigs, and we found out that he charges for things that never was done.
Okay. Are you asking then that maybe we put this on the agenda for our next monthly meeting and discuss that?
Yeah, we really need to, I mean, it's a matter, to me, it's a matter of making sure we get the work done and that it's paid for and we go to somebody that's reliable.
Fair enough. Sounds like we have an agenda item.
Okay. We can put that on.
Anything else?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think I know what you're talking about. She's at Anderson Automotive now.
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's what she's talking about. Yeah, did we hear anything about the audit?
So the audit, yes, Shireen has engaged the auditors and J.R. Martin, our CPA, and, there was not any reportable action, it's just clarification. I think the auditor still was sticking to their guns on some stuff, and so it was, yeah.
It was due in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
let me, it's hard to be able to get you an update, because I do need to sit with Shireen on a number of things, but let me make that as an extra item when she's back in the office, and I can push out an update on Friday.
Okay, then the other thing is, and Pam may have asked, staff about it, I called in at 1:15 the other day, and I got the answering service. And so I was shocked, and
So we didn't.
no, I think you
Didn't roll
did. Well, that's, because she-
Happened to me, yes.
well, when I asked her, she said, I go, why did I get you? You know,
Yeah.
and because it should have been done at 12:30 with the new hours. However, I think she said if both lines were busy, it rolls to her automatically.
Well, we had, when was this last week?
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of breaks, so we had a lot of calls,
Yeah, so that, yeah, that would
like,
be,
we were probably at capacity of the phone calls.
right,
Okay.
so see, that might have happened to you too, but that's because I go, well, why did I get you?
At least we have something where, you know, but, yeah, because they're good about following up with an email too, so if that's the only way they're actually really know is they follow up with an email. They don't call us.
They don't talk to us, it's the on-call number that they communicate, but
Oh,
that's
okay.
only if it's like a customer account they're going out to. Otherwise, it's like a 24 hours later we get email.
Yeah, so I guess we have to have that, we can't just have a busy
I'll
signal.
ask them.
I mean, if it's an emergency, I guess that's why you want people to,
Yeah, because
you
if
know.
we boo-boo leaving lines on, we
Yeah.
want that.
Yeah.
But,
Sure. It's a small
it
cost.
could be an educational thing where we have them continue to try to call us.
Yeah,
And I say, hey, we're busy, especially during a break,
yeah.
you know, there should be some understanding that we're trying to keep pace.
Anything else?
That was it.
Okay, a couple things from me. One, are we set with questions for the 21st? I seem to think that there may have been some hesitation as far as sufficient or also other questions that wanted to be incorporated.
I went back through my list of extra questions and they're all really there, they're just worded a little differently,
Okay.
so I'm okay. I think Jim had.
I circulated some on the third. And
All right, just wanted to make sure, and everybody has all the information they need to review prior to, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, plus an update, so. Then the other thing is just to report on the EAGSA that I attended today. We had that meeting this afternoon too. It was a good meeting, a lot of information, some good questions were asked, clarifications. The current grant that pays for things expires in March of next year. They'll run up and use up most of the 1.8 or 9 million that's still left. We're hoping that the Department of Water Resources comes up with another grant that we can then apply for. Otherwise, we could be looking at $25,000 a year into our budget, based on a 5-year running average of the annual report plus the extensive 5-year report. Discussion on what's it going to take to get to either a low impact or maybe every 3 years reporting, and maybe not a 5-year but a 10-year kind of a thing to lessen the impact on the disadvantaged districts. So it was good. Oh, and I spoke with Brandon Bishop, who kind of oversees a lot of the stuff, and mentioned for him to bring a proposal to the board because they want to do so, and they need a well to monitor out here as part of the monitoring system. And since we have the 3 of them just south of us, he'll bring a proposal at some point. It may not be until the next grant round that we will consider. It's very, there's no real impact. They just run a line down with a sensor and it pops up. So it wouldn't interfere with things as long as they have access to do the readings. In fact, the Department of Water Resources would probably be doing most of that themselves, since they seem to do most of the monitoring. So that'll be something that will be brought to the board probably next year at some point.
So it's frustrating for knowing that our basin is full of water, and we
then
need,
some.
and then some, and yet we still have to comply with all this rigmarole, and the fees go up like $2,000 a year.
Yeah.
And they just keep moving the goalpost of requirements of what you require. Because how many, so currently in Shasta County, there are 42
wells.
42 wells,
They're
and they want 10 more.
They're putting in 10 more, and they're looking for a few more, if we can let them monitor. They're also open to homeowners' wells. So if there's anybody willing to let them do that, that helps us out. More data coming in, more chance of proving that we don't have any problems, and they can focus on the San Joaquin Valley where it's the ground subsiding. Any other comments, anything from the public before I close us off?
Will you check to see if the pond thing got started, the concrete people?
I will, I'll do that. That's easy to do. And the only other thing that I would like to add is, you just communicate with us. We're accessible, and please reach out to us if you have any questions, and just make sure your contacts are.
Start time for the 21st. What time?
10 a.m.
That's the first interview.
First interview.
We want to be here, make sure we've got everybody here, we're up to speed on everything. At least 15 minutes prior to.
I'll do my best.
9:45, I understand. We'll do what we can. All right? Going, 8:04 p.m. Adjourn. Took longer.